Good morning, everyone. Welcome all sixth standard students in our virtual classroom of Brahan Mumbai Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai. I am Sonali Shankara Kamre from Varsanagar, Mumbai Public School. And today I am going to give a revise on our history topic as ancient India and the world. So let's begin. Our topic name ancient India and the world. We are going to do revision on this topic. Let's see our first point, that is Harappan civilization. What is meant by Harappan civilization? The Indus Valley civilization is also known as the Harappan civilization. Here the one name is given, that is Indus Valley. It means that It means that the Indus Valley civilization is also known as the Harappan civilization. See here the picture of Harappan civilization is given. Harappa is 4,700 years old city in the subcontinent discovered in 1920. It means that Harappa was established before 4,700 years ago. In which year? In 1920. After its discovery, cities like Mohenjo-daro, Lothal, Dholavira, and the Kalibanga have also been discovered and known as the Harappan cities, as were discovered after Harappa. After the Harappa, what happened? The some cities are discovered like Mohenjo-daro, Lothal, Dhoravira, and the Kalibanga. These cities were also known as the Harappan cities. All these cities were discovered around River Indus and hence prove the existence of the Indus Valley civilization. Why we called these cities as the Harappan civilization? Because these cities are discovered around the river Indus. That's why we call as the Harappan civilization to that cities. See, Harappan civilization had developed trade relations with the countries of West. Harappan civilization spread the trade relations with the countries of West. Like here, the green shaded part shows the area where the Harappan civilization uh, connect their trade relations with the countries of the West also. Harappans created sculptures, seals, pottery, and the jewelry from materials such as terracotta, metal, and the stones. Harappan civilization made some things or some materials or some creativity by using some materials, and that material known as terracotta, metals, and the stone. By using stone also they made some, what they are made, see this kind of things they made by using the stones, and they made some seals, and by using terracotta materials they use they created some pottery also. These are the creativity of the Harappan civilization, Harappan peoples. Let's see about the Gautam Buddha. Mm, Gautam Buddha. Buddhism was founded by Gautam Buddha. We all know that Buddhism was founded by Gautam Buddha. Buddha was born as Prince Siddhartha at Lumbini near Kapilvastu. Nowadays, it is present in Nepal in 566 BC. It means that the birth of Gautam Buddha was in 566 BC, where at the Lumbini, which is present nowadays in Nepal, that is Kapilvastu, the place, the name of the place. He gave his first sermon at Sarnath near Varanasi. The term Buddha means enlightened one. Here the word is given sermon. Sermon means religious speech. When Gautam Buddha give the first religious speech at Sarnath near to the Varanasi. Again, the term Buddha. What does the mean of Buddha? That is the enlightened one, and enlightened means what? The enlightened word is a Latin word. It means that the person who know more knowledge, who know more spiritual insight, and also having lots of understanding. So we called as Gautam Buddha as the enlightened one. See, this is the picture of Gautam Buddha. Buddha wandered for 7 years at the age of 35, attended enlightenment at Uruvela when meditating under a peepal tree on the banks of the river Niranjana. This tree came to be known as Bodhi tree, and the place became Bodh Gaya in Bihar. See, at the age of 35, Gautam Buddha became enlightened, enlightenment. Then what happened? Where he was meditating, meditating under a peepal tree, and peepal tree was near to the bank of the river Niranjana, and that tree is also present nowadays also, where it is present in Bodh Gaya, and Bodh Gaya is present in Bihar. This is a very important uh, mm, content that each one should memorize it. When Gautam Buddha passed away around 483 BC, his followers began to organize a religious movement. After the Gautam Buddha, his followers spread the uh, sp- uh, religious thoughts, which and thoughts of the Gautam Buddha was spread by the Gautam Buddha's followers. Buddha's teachings became the foundation for what would be develop into Buddhism. Gautam Buddha's teaching became the development of Buddhism. Here, Buddhism is created, or Buddhism uh, was developed because of only Buddha's teaching. In the 3rd century BC, Ashoka the Great, the Maurya and Indian emperor, made Buddhism the state religion of India. After the Gautam Buddha, the spread of Buddhism to the all over the world, where the Ashoka gives his more contribution for the spreading it. Buddhism had spread to Afghanistan and to many countries of Asia also. See how Buddhism spread through Asia. See here, our India is there, and this arrow shows the spreading of Buddhism to various countries of Asia, and the spreading of Buddhism was takes place in various ways, like literature, voice, like some sermons, or mm, or many other ways. Also, the Buddhism was spread uh, in different kind of worlds, countries. Kushana Empire. Kushanas are considered to be one of the five branches of the Yuezhi tribe who lived in the Chinese frontier of the Central Asia. Kushanas Kushanas considered they are considered as one of the five branches of the Yuezhi tribe. The name of the tribe as Yuezhi, that a tribe who lived in the Chinese frontier, or the Central Asia. That tribes, one of the tribe is Kushana. Sanskrit literature began to develop during this time, and the fourth Buddhist council was held in Sanskrit. Also, the Sanskrit literature developed during the Kushana empires, and the fourth Buddhist council was held in Sanskrit also. During this time, the distinct schools of art flourished as Gandhara school in northwest India. This is the important thing, that is the Gandharva school of art that emerged in Kushana period. So we will see later that is what is the meaning of the Gandharva art. Trade proposed between India, China, and India and the Roman Empire. The trades are mm, between the India, China, and India Roman Empire were established through um, many ways. The Kushanas control large parts of the Silk Route, which led to the propagation of Buddhism into China. It was during this time that Buddhism began to spread to Korea and Japan also. See, that the trade between the India with China, India with other countries also. Like that, when trade was going on between the India and the China, and that trade was by and that trade and that transformation of the things, uh, India and the China was done by the Silk Route. That time, what happened? The propagation of Buddhism is also spread into the China, and this way, the spreading of Buddhism is also happen in the Korea and the Japan. How? Because of the trade. While trading, they are spreading the Buddhism also. Kushanas were foreign invaders to begin with, but they were completely Indianized in face and culture. Here, word is given, uh, that is invaders. That is mean by that someone who enters by force. It means Kushana was foreign, but what happened? They were completely Indianized in ways and the culture of them. It is said that the Kushana period in Indian history was a perfect forerunner to the golden age of Guptas. After the Guptas, the Kushana period was a perfect. See, this is the map of Kushana Empire. Let's see about the Gandharva art. In the School of Art, the life-size statues of Gautam Buddha were carved. Until then, the Buddhist existence was shown in the form of symbols like lotus, umbrella, etc. Gandharva art, where what happened? The statue of Gautam Buddha, different kinds of statue of Gautam Buddha were curved. It means the art of statue of Gautam Buddha. It is so Gandhara in India during Kushana period. In the Kushana period, what happened? The Gandharva art was emerged. This is the one statue of Gautam Buddha. That is the example of Gandharva art. The various mudras of Buddha in Gandharva art. In the all Buddha depicted in the Gandharva art is shown making four types of head gesture, and this is reminder feature in this art. The gesture are as follows. It means that in the Gandharva art there are four types of gesture, and the statues. According to the gesture, the statue was carved, and so there are four types. First one is the Abhay Mudra. Abhay Mudra means Abhay, the word. The Abhay means do not, the person who never fear from anyone. That is, Abhay Mudra means don't fear. Second one is Dhyan Mudra. Dhyan means meditation, to do a meditation, like this. Dhyan Mudra means meditation. Third one is the Dhamma Chakra Mudra. It means a preaching mudra. And the fourth one is the Bhumi Sparsha Mudra, that is touching the earth. See, this is the first one, Abhay Mudra, that is don't fear. The second one is the Dhyan Mudra. See, the statue of the Buddha, that is, we looks like that Buddha is in the meditation pose. According to that gesture of the head, the name is given to that art, that is Dhyan Mudra. Third one is the Dhamma Chakra Mudra, and the fourth one, here in the fourth one, everyone can see that the gesture of hands and the head of the Gautam Buddha, like uh, Gautam Buddha is touching to the earth. According to that gesture, they gave the name, that is Bhumi Sparsha Mudra. This is the art of the Gandharva, which was emerged in Kushana Empire or Kushana period. Polishing the statues is an important feature of this art. Also, the polishing the statue was an important feature of the Gandharva art. The specimens were mostly prepared in stones, terracotta, and the clay. The statue of the Gautam Buddha was made by stones, terracotta material, and by using clay also. Let's see about the Alexandria. What is mean by now? What is the Alexandria? Alexandria was an important port which was present in Egypt. Alexandria was important port which was present in Egypt. After that, what happens to that port? On that port, what happened? Arab merchants carried Indian goods up to Alexandria. They carried Indian goods to that port, and after that, what happened? The Indian goods was um, given to all the um, uh, all the place of that Egypt. The concept zero is one of the India's major contribution to the world. The Arabs introduced this Indian concept to Europe. We all know that the concept of zero, that is India's major contribution to the world, which was given by the Aryabhatta, the concept of zero given by Aryabhatta, and that concept was introduced in introduced to Europe by Arab. So this is the place place of Alexandria port, where the ships were arrived, and among from that ships the will goods were distributed to the place of the Egypt. Let's see about the Sri Lanka. What is given in the Sri Lanka? The history of the Sri Lanka we are going to learn. The king Ashoka had sent his son Mahendra and the daughter Sanghamitra to Sri Lanka to spread Buddhism. See, I already told that for the spreading of Buddhism, there is a major contribution of the King Ashoka was given, and here there is a way how King Ashoka spread the Buddhism in various countries. Like he sent his son Mahendra and the daughter Sangmitra to spread Buddhism in Sri Lanka. Their names are mentioned in Buddhist text Mahavansh. Their names were mentioned in Mahavansh written in Sri Lanka. Sanghamitra carried a branch of Bodhi tree with her. Bodhi tree, where is the Bodhi tree is present? Bodhi tree is present at Bodh Gaya, and Bodh Gaya is present at Bihar, and the Bodhi tree is the tree, and under that tree, what happened? That tree which known as the where the Gautam Buddha became became enlightened one. So Sanghamitra carried a branch of the Bodhi tree with her, and spread Buddhism and spread the Buddhism in Sri Lanka with the, with the branch of Bodhi tree. This is the Bodhi tree. Bodhi tree was large and very gold skirt fig tree. It was at the Bodhi temple at Bodh Gaya. Siddhartha Gautam, the spiritual teacher and the founder of Buddhism. Siddhartha Gautam is also the spiritual teacher and the founder of Buddhism. The Sri Lankan tradition believes that the Bodhi tree at Anuradhapur in Sri Lanka has grown from the same branch. See, this is a place, Anuradhapuram, where the Bodhi tree was grown up, and that Bodhi tree is it's just a part of the Bodhi tree, which is present in Bodh Gaya. There was a great demand in India for Sri Lankan pearls. See, there were a great demands for India for Sri Lankan pearls. In the 5th century CE, King Kashyap had caves dug at a place called Sigiriya. This is the place, Sigiriya. This is the place, Sigiriya, where the king, that place were dug at the time of King Kashyap. The wall painting of Sigiriya caves resembles to the painting of Ajanta caves. The word resembles, it means the wall painting of um, that caves were similar to the painting of the Ajanta caves. These are the correlation between the both caves. Let's see about the Mahavansh and Deepvansh. Mahavansh means Mahavansh similar to the Deepvansh, and both were written in Pali language also. But Mahavansh deals with the history of the island from the legendary beginnings to up to the reign of Mahasena. And the Deepvansh, it is known for that earliest extant chronicle of Sri Lanka of unknown authorship, deals with the history of island from the earliest times up to the reign of Mahasena. Sri Lankan Buddhist Sri Lankan Buddhist work provide information about the close relation between India and Sri Lanka, and they are written in Pali language. We should be keep in mind that Mahavansh and Deepvansh written in Pali language. Let's see about the spread of Buddhism in Sri Lanka. How the spread of Buddhism happen in Sri Lanka. This is the some arrows are here. Some arrows are showing, and this arrow shows correlation between the two different places, and through this relations happen the spread of Buddhism is done in Sri Lanka. Now let's see about the China. India and China had established trade and cultural relation, where the Emperor Harshvardhan had even sent an ambassador to the Chinese court. See, this is the China, and the capital of the China is in here, where India and China established their trade relations, and also Harshvardhan, Emperor Harshvardhan, sent ambassador. Ambassador means the person who who represent to a country, and he sent Harshvardhan sent ambassador to the Chinese court. Now let's say about the Chinese silk. Chinese silk was also known as China Shunk, and it was in great demand in India. That Indians, um, Indians, great demand for the Chinese silk. The merchants in ancient India supplied Chinese silk to modern countries. See, in this picture, the Chinese women's what they are doing, they are created some Chinese silk. We all know that in China and India was having a trade relations, but uh, how they are exchanging their goods, or how they are doing their trade relations by using the Silk Route. See, this is the Silk Route. Silk Route, the land route by which the silk trade was carried on. It means the silk was prepared here, and from China to India, Silk Route was mm, um, was transported by silk. Sorry, the silk. Sorry, silk. What we say? Yes, Chinese silk was transported to India through Silk Route. Silk Route in India, in example, Nagasopara near in Mumbai, Maharashtra. That is the uh, that is Nagasopara was known as the Silk Route, which is present in Mumbai near in Maharashtra. Spread of Buddhism in China. The Emperor of China invited the Buddhist bhikkhus Dharmarakshak and Kashyap Matang to China. Here, the Emperor of China, that is the Ming, who invited to whom Buddhist bhikkhus. Bhikkhu, the person who gives uh, teaching of Gautam Buddha, that is Dharmarakshaka and Kashyap Matang to China. King Emperor invited these both bhikkhus to China for the spread of Buddhism. The spread of Buddhism in China by translating Indian Buddhist texts into Chinese language also. See, in this map, the spread of Buddhism was shown. How the spread of Buddhism was takes place. The Chinese Buddhist bhikkhus Fahian and the Yuan Shuang came India through Silk Route. This is the Chinese bhikkhus Fahian Shuan, and he came India by using this Silk Route, the route which connected India and the China for the trade purpose. Countries in the Southeast Asia. The ancient kingdom of Funan in Cambodia was established in the 1st century CE. Here, the ancient kingdom was established at the in Cambodia. People of Funan knew Sanskrit language. They knew Sanskrit language. Then the stone inscription of the period of that period is still existent in Sanskrit language also. Impact of Indian culture. How the Indian culture impacts to other countries or other people. The Indian culture had deep impact on the art and the cultural life of Southeast Asia. For example, dance dramas based on the stories from Indian epics, Ramayana and Mahabharata. We all know that in India, where the different kinds of religions, where the different kinds of culture, and where different kinds of languages are present, and among that also we have one unity in the diversity. We are celebrating different kinds of festivals. We are celebrating um, what we say that we are connected to each other through various cultures, and these cultures had impact to other countries through various way, like dance dramas, then functions, and other ways also. Spread of Buddhism in Southeast Asia. In ancient period, Buddhist religion spread to Myanmar, Thailand, and Indonesia also. See, spread of Buddhism it's also happen in Myanmar, Thailand, And where is the Indonesia? In nearby this, the Indonesia is present. So in this way, the the spread of Buddhism was happened. So in our today's lesson, what we have learned, that is ancient India and the world, where we have learned about the Gandharvat, we have learned about the spread of Buddhism, we also learn about the history of Sri Lanka, and also we learn how the India and China uh, how India and China um, made a trade relations by the silk, and by using the Silk Route also. Also, we have learned Kushana empires and so many things. So these are the whole revision on our topic. So let's begin recapitulation questions. So my first question is, the king Kashyap had dug caves at place known as Sigiriya. So this is the true or false? Yes, yes, the student. The king Kashyap had dug caves at a place known as Sigiriya. The place Sigiriya. What we say?
False.
False, beta. Say, think again. The place Sigiriya, which is related to.
True. Yeah,
Hmm.
true.
True, correct. Why? We also know that Sigiriya Place wall painting is similar to which wall painting? The wall painting of Ajanta Caves.
Yes.
Very good. Next question. The Mahavansh written in Pali language. So it is true or false?
False.
Think again. If
Yeah,
the
true.
Mahavansh is written in Pali language is false, then in which language Mahavansh is written? Yes, Mahavansh written in which language?
Sanskrit.
Think again. No, Sanskrit is not the correct answer. It's written in Pali language only. That's why it's true.
Yeah.
Hmm. Third one, the Nala Sopara near the Mumbai was the Silk Route. It is correct or true or false? Nala Sopara.
Yeah, true.
Very good. Quick answer given by you. Very good. Emperor Harshvardhan had sent an ambassador to the Chinese court. It is true or false? Harshvardhan, Emperor Harshvardhan, ambassador. I told the meaning of ambassador also, who represent to one's country.
False.
Yes, think again. No, beta, your answer is wrong. Think it again and give me answer. Emperor Harshvardhan had sent
Yeah,
an yes, it's true. So these are the very good beta. So these are the recapitulation questions. Now, uh, all the sixth standard students have some assignment questions. For example, first one, elaborate Indian culture had an impact on Southeast Asia. Second one, write short note on Silk Route. Third one, explain the spread of Buddhism in China. Fourth one, write a history of Sri Lanka. And the fifth one, write information about your favorite historical place. So these are the 5 questions for the assignment. I hope all the sixth standard students understand our topic, that is ancient India and the world. And today we revised it also. So thank you for all students. Thank you.